Wow. That was just so...
Come on, don't pretend you didn't have an imaginary friend or two as a kid. No shame in it, it just means you had a wild imagination, which is totally normal while growing up. It's actually so common that movies have played around with the idea, whether as a way to show a kid's creativity coming to life or as a nostalgic nod to childhood for adult characters. But just because imaginary friends come from made-up minds doesn't mean they didn't leave a big impact, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. Movies like The Voices and Fight Club gave us some pretty messed up ones like Bosco and Mr. Whiskers and Tyler Durden. But the 2024 movie If finally gave us a more wholesome take on imaginary friends, something we could definitely use more of in a sequel. The movie follows 12-year-old Bea, who moves in with her grandma, Margaret, in New York while her dad waits for heart surgery, the same hospital where her mom passed away from cancer years ago. One night, Bea spots a strange creature and follows it back to her grandma's building. The next day, she sees it again, this time with a man named Cal. She follows them to a house where Cal rescues a big, furry, purple creature named Blue. Bea also meets another creature, a butterfly-like being named Blossom, then promptly faints. When she wakes up in Cal's apartment, she learns that he works with imaginary friends, or IFs, helping them find new kids since their original creators have grown up and forgotten them. If they don't find someone new, they'll disappear. At first, Bea isn't too sure about getting involved, but eventually she tries to help. The next day, Cal takes Bea to Memory Lane Retirement Home, a hidden retirement community for IFs tucked away beneath a swing ride at Coney Island. There, she meets Louis, an elderly teddy bear who runs the place. Inspired by the whimsical setting, Bea uses her imagination to redesign the facility, though Cal isn't exactly thrilled about it. Bea then tries to pair one of the IFs with Benjamin, a young hospital patient, but he can't see them at all. This leaves her discouraged, but Louis suggests something different. Maybe IFs don't need new kids, maybe they just need to reconnect with their original ones. Later, while talking to her grandmother, Bea spots an old photo of her as a young dancer and notices Blossom in the background. Realizing that Blossom was actually her grandma's IF, she decides to put Louis's theory to the test. Playing one of her grandmother's favorite records sparks something in Margaret, bringing back memories of Blossom and filling Bea with hope. Encouraged, Bea, Cal, and Blue follow a lead and track down Blue's original kid, Jeremy, now an adult trying to get his business off the ground. With Bea's help, Jeremy remembers Blue, and the reunion gives him the confidence boost he needs for an important business pitch. That evening, Bea arrives home to find Margaret panicked. There's been a complication with her dad's treatment. Overwhelmed, Bea confides in Cal, telling him she's not ready to say goodbye. Cal gently suggests that instead of thinking about losing him, she should tell him a story instead. At the hospital, Bea sits by her unresponsive father's bedside and tells him a heartfelt story about how she's been trying so hard to act grown up when deep down she's still just a kid who needs her dad. As she speaks, she breaks down in tears, terrified she might lose him too. But then, he wakes up. Relieved, she hugs him tightly. When she steps outside his room, she suddenly realizes that all the IFs who had been with her at the hospital have disappeared. Back at her grandmother's building, Bea goes to thank Cal, only to discover that his apartment doesn't exist. The landlady shows her that it's just an old storage room. Confused but not quite ready to let go, she and her dad pack up to head home after his release from the hospital. While sorting through her things, Bea stumbles upon an old picture she painted as a child and has a shocking realization. Cal was actually her IF, someone she had forgotten after her mom passed away. Racing to Cal's old room, she thanks him for everything and tells him she will always need him. That moment of recognition allows her to see Cal and all the other IFs again, leading to one final heartfelt reunion. Sometime later, Cal continues his work, helping grown-ups reconnect with their lost IFs. And as for Benjamin, he finally meets his IF, a quirky, bespectacled Dr. Dragon with matching injuries, proving that imaginary friends always show up when they're needed most. This was a really solid movie overall, given that John Krasinski's last two directorial projects were A Quiet Place and its sequel. It's kind of surprising how different his new movie If is. Instead of a dark, post-apocalyptic world filled with deadly monsters, this one takes place in a fun, magical setting with friendly creatures. How people react to it will probably vary, but there's no denying Krasinski's talent for creating immersive worlds. This movie really invites you to reconnect with your childhood and reminds you to find wonder in the world even when things get tough. It focuses more on the imaginary friends and what they represent on a deeper level. It wouldn't have been easy for Krasinski, who also wrote the film, to make it a fast-paced adventure where B has to race against the clock to save the IFs from disappearing. Instead, he expands the world of IFs through fun, imaginative montages and heartfelt moments filled with nostalgia. One of the highlights is a charming scene where B transforms a retirement home full of displaced IFs into whatever she wants, much to Cal's annoyance, giving Krasinski a chance to really let his creativity shine. By taking a more character-driven emotional route, If really knows how to tug at our heartstrings. It's a film that invites you to embrace your childhood and reminds you to find wonder in the world even when times are tough. The messages will definitely resonate with many, though some might roll their eyes at how sentimental the plot gets. Personally, I was charmed by the overall vibe, though there were a few parts that felt a bit off. Since If leads with its heart, the plot doesn't always flow smoothly. It takes a while for B to meet the IFs and accept her new role, and once that happens, the movie falls into a pretty predictable rhythm. At times, it almost feels like Krasinski got a bit too carried away with all his ideas for the story. Still, despite the rough patches, If keeps pushing forward with its warmth and optimism, leading to some genuinely powerful moments. I'd definitely be interested in seeing where a sequel could go with this. Krasinski really nailed it with a cast in this one, and I'd love to see them return for a second part. Fleming, best known for The Walking Dead, steps up to the lead role and delivers a standout performance, proving she's definitely someone to watch. As Bee's tough exterior starts to give way to the joy she's been missing, Fleming nails every moment of her emotional journey. The number of cameos in If, George Clooney, Emily Blunt, Brad Pitt, and Matt Damon, just to name a few, could easily have been distracting, but it only stands out if you're really trying to spot every voice. The unique character designs add a nice touch, tapping into the kind of wild ideas kids might dream up. While the film's sentimental side could be a bit much for some, Krasinski has filled it with so much heart and wonder that there's definitely something to love, especially if you're open to letting your imagination roam free. Given all that, I'd definitely be excited for a second part. I'd love to hear your thoughts on a sequel in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, we'll be covering more updates soon along with other exciting movies and series. See you next time!